Welcome back. All right, so 4 games to review tonight. We have 14 games tomorrow. I'm working on that preview board right now. Couldn't completely finish it because some of the teams playing today are obviously playing tomorrow. So we'll start off talking about the game that has all the goals in it. The Detroit Red Wings hosting the Philadelphia Flyers. And it's another case of Detroit having a big lead and then kind of letting that go, but we'll go through it. So it's Hart versus Reimer, good early back and forth. DeBrincat to Larkin, there's a near miss. Wings press at 2 minutes. Things get pushy on a hold by Reimer. And then Larkin hits the post, and the puck goes to Kane, who buries it. And there was a moment before people realized it was in the net. Larkin and DeBrincat with the assists at 4.5 minutes. And this is the first time in 6 games where the Wings have scored first. Flyers look to respond. There's a press by Detroit at 7 minutes. Eventually, Kane buries one from the side of the net for a second goal in a row. DeBrincat and Hall with the assists at 8:16. The Wings press for another, but on a 2-on-1 rush, Philly answers. It's Brink from Farabee and Zamula at 9 minutes. Reimer then has a giveaway behind the net. He's bailed out by his defense. Sherratt breaks up an odd man rush. We get a power play for Detroit, and they score on it. As Daniel Sprong from Sider and Raymond at 15:05. And then at 15:38, Compher buries a loose puck. Veleno and Raymond with the assist there. And then just as the time's dwindling in that first period at 19:42, Gostisbehere scores from Kane and DeBrincat. He buries that one from the side of the net. So it's 5-1 Detroit after the first. Second period. Hart still in the net. A little bit of a surprise there that they didn't make a change in net. It turns out that it's the right call, but it is still a bit of a surprise. Forrester has a rush that's held. The Wings press are kept to the outside. We had a fight between Sealer and Fisher. Sealer gets enraged. I guess it was on the 2 minutes for the instigator. Now, initially, they didn't announce the 5 minutes for Fisher, who was clearly getting 5 minutes because he did punch back, so it was a fight. But yeah, so Sealer gets escorted off the ice, but there were some words, and if you can read lips and you saw that, I would like to apologize on behalf of everybody. So the Wings, it looked like they were going to get a power play, but then they don't, so it ends up not being a man advantage, but it felt like that kind of fired up the Flyers a little bit. So 3:37, Couturier scores from Sanheim and Zamula, and then 24 seconds later, Frost scores one from Sanheim and Atkinson. The Wings end up drawing a power play. That becomes a minute and 2 seconds of 4-on-4. Gostisbehere then gets an extra 2 minutes for kind of mocking the call, mocking the penalty call. Like, he jumps on the ice, and I guess that's sort of a, well, look, this is what the guy was doing. Referee sees that, gives him the extra 2. So it's one of those unique games where both teams were very angry at the referee. Wings don't let the Flyers set up early. Everything gets killed off there. Sprong has a rush that's defended by Ristolainen. Larkin has a net drive that's held, but after 2 periods, it's 5-3 in favor of Detroit. Third period, Sanheim has a shot that's saved as the Flyers press. Ristolainen has a slot shot that's caught and held. Flyers press 3 minutes in. Kane has a rush chance that's held, and then at 5:51, Hathaway tips one out of the air. Lawton and York with the assists, and then Flyers press to tie it. The fans call one, the referee doesn't. The Wings press at 8 minutes are kept to the outside. We get a power play for Detroit. There was a shorthanded rush by Konechny that saved. The power plays killed off. And then Lawton tips one in to tie the game. Forrester and Farabee with the assists at 13:28. And at 14:53, Tippett gives Philadelphia their first lead of the game from Konechny. So a 5-1 lead after one becomes a 6-5 lead for Philly in the third. It does not last. At 15:30, Larkin buries one from behind the net. Petrie and Sider with the assists. It's 6-6. It's going overtime. I was out of room, really. So DeBrincat's denied. Ristolainen has a chance that's saved. Ghost is denied on a fast break, but we're going to the shootout. In the shootout, Raymond and Kane score for Detroit. There were no goals for Philadelphia during their opportunities. So the Detroit Red Wings win this one 7-6 in a shootout. They go to 16-13-4. You'll see the Love 80s magnet on the board there because more than 10 goals, 10 or more means 80s game. 18-11-4 record for Philadelphia, and I give them credit for coming back when they were down 5-1. Shots on net, 13-11 Detroit in the first, 14-9 for Philly in the second, 14-9 Philadelphia in the third, 6-4 Detroit in the overtime. Final shots, 43-37 for the Flyers. Power plays, 0 for 2 for Philly, 1 for 3 for Detroit. The hits, 13-12 Philadelphia. Hart saves 31 out of 37. Reimer saves 37 out of 43. So entertaining game, and Detroit gets a win that they really desperately needed. All right, next up, Edmonton and the Rangers. Who saw this one coming? So, back-to-back nights, you might have thought, maybe the Oilers would be a bit tired and they'd fade late. Didn't happen. So it's Skinner versus Quick. The Oilers press at a minute and a half. Panarin has a one-timer this block. The shots on net are 5-0 Edmonton at 2.5 minutes. They would only get 2 shots for the rest of the period. Yeah, the Rangers start to take over. Rangers press are kept to the outside. There's a near miss for Hyman on a net drive. The Rangers press. Wheeler's denied. And then puck comes off the boards to Wheeler and he buries it. And he was very impressed with the assist by Zibanejad on the play. Kreider with the other helper at 11:01. It's 1-0 for the Rangers. Rangers look for another. Lafreniere has a rush chance. That's held. 8 shots in a row for the Rangers at that point. Oilers press with 4.5 minutes left. The teams exchange rushes. The Rangers press with a minute and a half left. CC clears there. With 20.6 seconds left, the Rangers get a power play. So that rolls over to the second period with them up 1-0. There's a shorthanded rush by Janmark. The Oilers do kill that off. Panarin has a slot shot. That's blocked. The shots are 5-0 Rangers 5 minutes in. Ekholm fires one high. The Rangers clear. The Rangers go back to the power play. The Oilers clear. They clear it out again. They do kill that off. So the teams trade rushes after that's done. The Oilers, 30 minutes into this game, had 8 shots. So only 1 shot in the second period to that stage. Yeah, the Oilers were having a hard time getting to the net at that point. There's a kick save on Nurse as the Oilers press. We get a power play drawn by the Oilers. McDavid's denied. There's a failed clear. Draisaitl's denied next. The Rangers would get a shorthanded rush, and they kill that off. Rangers press with 4.5 minutes left. Bouchard has a blast. That's caught and held. 2:59 left. The Oilers go back to the power play. Hyman's denied. The rebound's cleared. The Rangers kill that off. So after 2 periods, it's still 1-0 for the Rangers. Third period, early press by the Rangers. But at 3:07, on a backhand in close, Hyman scores. Ekholm and McDavid with the assist. So McDavid stays hot there. The Oilers then look for the lead, and they get it. At 4:17, it is Kane scoring from Ryan. Then the next chance Kane had, he fires high. But at 6:36, Foegele buries one on a rush. McLeod and Ceci with the assist, so McLeod on the board. He stays hot. And then he gets the next goal. He gets the goal at 9:52 from Foegele. He just buries a loose puck. So Foegele and McLeod really playing well. And this is the thing. If Edmonton's going to get this together and get above the playoff line, having that support scoring, huge help in getting there. Rangers press with 8 minutes left. We get a power play for New York. It becomes a 6-on-4 with 5.5 minutes left. Eventually they score. Zibanejad buries a loose puck at the net. Lafreniere and Kreider with the assists at 15:42. Goalie pull happens with 3:35 left. Eventually the Rangers score again, but it's with 1/10 of a second left. It's Cooley at 19:59. That's just academic. Just doesn't mean much at that point. 4-3 win for the Oilers. They go to 15-15-1. They even the record at 500. For the Rangers, 22-8-1 with the loss at home. Shots on net, 8-7 Rangers in the first, 14-11 Rangers in the second, 12-10 Rangers in the third. They do outshoot the Oilers 34-28. Power plays, the Oilers 0-2. The Rangers 1-3. The hits 13-11. For the Rangers, Skinner saved 31 out of 34. Quick saves 24 out of 28. So, fun game though. Next up, so I wore Boston this morning, but I did that because if Winnipeg beats Boston, it's not a big deal to me. Winnipeg is now first in the division again, and I think Winnipeg, the argument can be made for where they might be tomorrow on the power rankings, right? So it's Swayman versus Hellebuck, and keep in mind the Jets do not play tomorrow, so that's one thing to keep in mind too. But yeah, Velarde's denied on a net drive. He's playing the best hockey he has in his career. Jets score. It's waved off for a kick by Morrissey, and it was definitely kicked in. Shots are 3-0 Jets at 3.5 minutes. They press at 5.5 minutes. It was obvious pretty early on. Boston did not have their A game tonight. Bruins not controlling the puck well. Lots of turnovers. And if you're playing that way, the Jets have the kind of forecheck that can hurt you, especially that third line. Lowry to Appleton near miss. Scheifele has a rush that's blocker to side. Strong forechecking by the Jets, as I mentioned. Shots are 6-3 for Winnipeg with 6 minutes left. Frederick has a chance at the net. That's held. The Bruins press in the final minute, but the Jets would score on a rush. It's Morrissey from Velarde and Scheifele at 19:52. It's 1-0 Winnipeg after 1. Second period. Frederick has a net drive. That's held. The Bruins draw a power play. The Jets do not let them set it up. They kill it off. Pushy then on a hold by Hellebuck. You can see the Bruins getting a little frustrated. Power play for the Jets. That was killed off by the Bruins. Pressed by the Jets with 9.5 minutes left. We get a near miss for Lowry. The Bruins clear, but then on a tic-tac-toe play, it becomes 2-0. Velarde with that one from Ehlers and Scheifele at 11-17. I think that's a 6-game goal streak now for Velarde or something. He's playing quite well. So a goal to go with an assist on the night thus far. Iafallo then has a tip shot that's held. Bruins press with 5 minutes left. There's a power play for the Jets. Penalty shot for Scheifele. That was saved. However, on that same power play, so that Scheifele gets that penalty shot while the Jets are on the power play. And then with 5 seconds left in that power play, Niederreiter scores from Schmidt and Pionk at 17:41. Bruins press are kept to the outside, but yeah, it's 3-0 for Winnipeg after 2. Third period, early press by Boston, and then Lowry buries one in close at 1:25 from Appleton and Niederreiter. So that early press by Boston doesn't matter. Winnipeg goes the other way and they score to make it 4-0. Van Riemsdyk's denied as the Bruins press. We get a power play for Boston, killed off, 1 shot on that power play. Iafallo has a rush chance that deflects out. McAvoy's a blast kicked aside, and then unassisted, Carlo scores at 14:22. It was through a screen from the point, and I'm going to be honest, I was kind of like, it sucks, because I kind of wanted to see Hellebuck get the shutout at that point. Once you're in those final 6-7 minutes, I want to see the shutout. So the Bruins press with 3.5 minutes left. Beecher misses one wide on a rush. The Jets get a power play with 1:25 left, and they score on it. It's Niederreiter from Perfetti at 19:41, makes your final score 5-1. The Jets are 29-3. The Bruins are 19-6-6 with the loss. Shots on net 10-6 Winnipeg in the first, 11-7 Winnipeg in the second. Bruins had 12 shots in the third, so did Winnipeg. Final shots 33-25 for the Jets. Power plays, the Bruins 0 for 2, the Jets 2 for 3. Hits 23-19 Winnipeg. Swayman saves 28 out of 33. Hellebuck saves 24 out of 25 at the other end. So, again, if you're a Jets fan, you've got to be over the moon right now. They're playing fantastic hockey, and it is fun for them to watch. All right, Montreal. So the Habs in against the Chicago Blackhawks, and Chicago continues to play well at points, but we know they're going to lose the lion's share of their games. So it's Primo versus Mrazek. The Habs had the only shot on net 3 minutes in. We get a press by Montreal at 4.5 minutes. Blackwell has a turnover chance that's blocked. Monahan to Anderson gets picked off. Caulfield fires one wide. The Hawks rush. Sharks didn't even run on the board. Matheson's denied. Mrazek was pretty solid early on. Like, Montreal was getting the better opportunities. Mrazek was holding a minute until he didn't. So we get a power play for Montreal. There's a shorthanded break for Blackwell. He fires it wide. It's killed off. Really good kill on that one by Chicago. Then there's a near miss by Slavkovsky in close. Blackwell has a shot that's held. Struble saves on Beauvillier. Some of the fans thought that went in. Didn't. Struble with a nice save there. Although, I think the announcer accidentally called him Strudel tonight, and now I can't unhear it. And so, like, yeah, whoops. Anyways, so I really hope I don't call him Strudel, but it's going to happen at some point in time, I think, because I've heard it. And, yeah. Anyway, Chicago would open the scoring. Donato from Bedard and Reichel at 16:56. So Bedard with a point tonight, yet again. And it was a wrist shot on a rush by Donato. Radish has a rush chance that's blocked. The Habs press to close out the period. It is 1-0 Chicago after 1. Second period, early Hawks power play. That was killed off, but Dickinson would score for Chicago to make it 2-0. He scores from Blackwell and Crevier at 3:43. Montreal would answer quickly. At 4 minutes and 20 seconds, or 4:20, Stevens scores his first as a Hab. Point shot gets tipped in by Stevens. Matheson and Savard with the assist there. As David Savard continues to be fantastic in fantasy if you have him. He's been putting up a lot of points lately. If you have him, though, your fantasy team may not be doing that well. Blackhawks look to respond. Gooley has a net drive that's saved. The Hawks press at 7.5 minutes. Shots are 5-3 for Montreal with 8.5 minutes left. Struble has a fight with Entwistle. The Habs get a power play. Early clear by the Hawks. That's killed off. And then Josh Anderson stays red hot. He's been scoring goals lately. He scores from Monahan and Evans at 15:02. That is point number 499 in the career of Sean Monahan. There's a post for Dickinson from the slot. The Habs press with 3 minutes left. And Slavkovsky gets a goal in his second straight game. Suzuki and Ullinen with the assists at 17:33. And suddenly, Montreal has a 3-2 lead after 2. Third period. Teams exchange rushes. The shots are 1 apiece at 3 minutes. Kurashev has a rush chance that's defended. Near miss for Donato as the Hawks press. Neither team was getting really good opportunities, high danger chances. But the Habs would press at 8.5 minutes. Eventually, they do get an insurance goal at Suzuki, burying a rebound from Caulfield and Slavkovsky at 13 minutes and 11 seconds. The Habs score again, but it's ruled to be offside, despite Montreal fans vehemently disagreeing with the call. So the Habs, they're still just up 4-2. Then there's a post for Radish on a rush. The goalie pull happens with 3:29 left, but at 18:04, the insurance shows up when Savard hits the empty net. So there's another goal for Savard. With 27.6 seconds left, the Habs get a power play, and so they finish the game on the power play. They win at 5-2. They go to 15-13-5 with the win. Chicago drops to 10-21-1 with the loss. Shots on net, 9-7 Chicago in the first, 11-6 Montreal in the second, 10-6 Montreal in the third. Final shots, 28-21 for the Habs. Power plays, 0 for 3 for Montreal, 0 for 1 for Chicago. The hits, 22-9 for Chicago. Primo saved 19 out of 21. He was good when he had to be, and Mrazek saved 23 out of 27 at the other end. He was good early and kept him in it, but yeah, Montreal just wanted it more. So there you go. You're all caught up on tonight's action. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.